here's a battle that you can't see every day, the freshly released OnePlus 9 Pro and the Mi 11 Ultra with their amazing camera setups in a great, fair competition side by side. Which one of them has the better cameras? Let's inspect. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Michael and I've been testing a lot the camera of the Mi 11 Ultra lately and thought of comparing it for you to one of the other hot devices right now, OnePlus 9 Pro. A video that is possible thanks to the kind help of my friend Alex from the Tech Space channel. You can go ahead and subscribe. He has been using the OnePlus 9 Pro on a daily basis ever since it appeared, so it was kind of my experience versus his experience, and it turned out to be pretty awesome. While we're going to test all the cameras included with most of the important modes, let's begin with the photos taken by the main camera sensors, those that you're likely going to use the most. Pretty similar in terms of specs. When it comes to the size, the Mi 11 Ultra has the edge here, rocking the brand new Samsung GN2 image sensor with 1x1.12 inches size, while the OnePlus 9 Pro has the Sony IMX789 with size of 1x1.31 inches, but also includes the so important Hasselblad logo, a partnership supposed to give them the so needed boost in terms of image quality. In daylight, photos are mostly about software processing, so I expect quite similar performance. Let's take a closer look. These two have been shot in almost ideal light conditions. Left one is taken with a Xiaomi device, right side of the screen is for OnePlus, and I'm gonna keep this setup till the end of the video in order to avoid any confusions. From what I see here, we have two very good and bright photos. Quite obvious that OnePlus has deeper blue sky. It's probably thanks to the AI processing, which tends to make the photo more Instagrammable. It's obviously a lot sharper than the photo taken with Mi 11 Ultra. I tend to like the softer, more natural-looking style of the Mi 11 Ultra. Zooming in 5 times just confirms this observation. The OnePlus 9 Pro just loses in terms of quality and the image starts to look cartoonish, while Mi 11 Ultra retains rather good amount of detail. And just look, even if I add some extra sharpness to the image, it continues to look great. Important to know that OnePlus 9 Pro main camera tends to be about 10% wider than the one on Mi 11 Ultra. Speaking of that, let's switch to the dedicated wider sensors. OnePlus have chosen the 50-megapixel IMX766 by Sony with size of about 1x1.56 inches. Xiaomi are deploying the IMX586, which is half an inch sensor, a bit older but well known from the past years for its great performance. On theory, we expect OnePlus to have the edge here. This time, the Mi 11 appears to be a bit wider, quite an important characteristic for ultra-wide camera, cause that's the point here, to get as much as possible inside the frame. The difference is exactly 20%, quite a lot in my opinion. We tend to notice the same approach with color science, being a lot more realistic with Mi 11 Ultra. However, some distortions become apparent. Zooming in 5 times shows again the much sharper image by OnePlus. Sharpening is often used to compensate lack of details. However, here we can see that even if we increase the sharpness on Mi 11 Ultra photo, it still is slightly behind OnePlus in terms of quality. In this round, I'm gonna give the point to each one of them, since Mi 11 is wider and has more realistic colors, and because OnePlus has a bit more detail and better contrast. Now, going for the telephoto lenses, these are the scales of the original photos. The one taken by Xiaomi appears to be much closer, almost twice closer to be precise. If we adjust the scale, OnePlus photo starts to fall apart, gets grainy, continues to be over-sharpened, and lacks details. Zooming in twice, they appear to be in totally different leagues. Easy win for Mi 11 Ultra, with the conclusion that the telephoto lens in this phone is not just usable, it's a lot better, probably the best I've seen in a smartphone so far. Let's go for quite the opposite, some macro photography. Credits here go to the OnePlus 9 Pro. This bee was not patient enough to wait for the Mi 11 Ultra photo, so something else side by side. If you like making a lot of macro photos, this is where the 9 Pro truly shines. Fantastic bokeh and the ability to get much closer to the object. I don't think there's anything else to say here, just reminding you that in case you want to check any of the samples, I will link the originals in the description below the video. Shall we switch to portraits now? I need to underline that here, the Miui camera app has a good excuse because all the photos were taken with the first version of the camera app, therefore you can notice some weird artifacts. Happened to some of the photos that we took. There finally is a new version of the software which seems to correct this behavior, but now the weather is bad again, so I guess we're gonna catch up some other time. Even after putting this fact aside, the OnePlus portrait mode seems to be a lot better. Not only that, but OnePlus offers dedicated ultra-wide portrait mode, which is also cool, but, well, has cut off part of my head. I still think OnePlus deserves a point in this round. Let's put things in motion now with some videos, starting with slow motion. That's exactly what OnePlus are highlighting, because they promise 4K at 120 frames per second. And they deliver, obviously, more details than 1080p and some skipped frames with Mi 11 Ultra, which I would blame again on the early revision of the software. But it's another 9 Pro victory. Autofocus in video mode is great with both smartphones. Of course, the higher the bitrate and the resolution gets, the tougher it's becoming for the phone to catch up. And I think it's slightly better with the OnePlus 9 Pro. Looks like in the next round, Mi 11 Ultra manages to catch up. OnePlus shows slightly better dynamic range, maybe just a bit better stabilization, but the amount of details and the color balance is in favor of Mi 11 Ultra. At 4K 30 frames per second, I think it's the better one. It strengthens its position even further with the 4K 60 frames per second. I think stabilization here is superior with the Mi device, has a lot better dynamic range, more details, and I personally like the colors better. Let me now cheer up all the OnePlus fans, because selfies, they're obviously better with the 9 Pro. Nicer colors, good softening of the image, and a lot better looking background. So how about doing the same, but in low light, night mode? Here they are, side by side. I swear, right after taking the photos, we compare them on the phones, side by side, and both me and Alex agreed that the OnePlus 9 Pro taken photo looked better. Perhaps some display optimizations, but now having them side by side, this clearly is a win for the Mi 11 Ultra. Furthermore, if we take the photo with the regular photo mode, difference is even greater. Surprisingly, the situation was not much different with the ultra-wide camera. I say surprisingly because theoretically the sensor inside OnePlus is a bit larger. While I expected an easy win for the OnePlus 9 Pro due to the slightly larger sensor, it actually failed to deliver the needed quality. Guess some software optimizations will bring it on track. I will, however, give this point to each one of the phones in this round because results are really close. With the telephoto lenses, we replicate the same result as in daylight. Just the difference now is even greater and in favor of Mi 11 Ultra. I've done multiple low-light photos with this lens, and it never disappointed. With low-light portraits, however, OnePlus is again crushing it. It's actually a photo that good that it looks surprisingly similar to a photo taken by a camera with expensive lens. Not that the Mi 11 Ultra does a bad job, but just look at how nicely blurred the lights on the left side are with the OnePlus. Amazing. Hopping onto video, for Mi 11 Ultra, less noise, more details, better dynamic range. For the OnePlus 9 Pro, stabilization is a bit better because you can see less artifacts, but both are darn good. I even tried the dedicated night video modes. The second part of this clip is shot in almost complete darkness, so the results are amazing. Pretty close as you can see, some of the areas on the Mi 11 Ultra are better and some on the 9 Pro video. If you decide to use your phone's selfie camera, here's how both of them perform side by side. You may well remember that OnePlus 9 Pro showed better quality in daytime, low lights, it's about the same. So, how can we sum all of that up? Both cameras have very good performance. Whichever smartphone you decide to buy, it's going to offer true flagship-grade experience. Obviously, when it comes to pure image sensor performance, Mi 11 Ultra has slight edge over the 9 Pro. OnePlus has a lot more aggressive sharpening in order to overcome this disadvantage, and it sometimes works good, but sometimes just doesn't. They also have achieved extracting 120 frames per second out of 4K video, which makes them among the first to support it. However, the Miui camera app is, in my opinion, superior, offering a lot more features, including a pro video mode and also a lot better post-processing functions through the photo editor. Major strengths of the Mi 11 Ultra, besides the fantastic main sensor, is the much wider ultra-wide camera, the much closer and detailed telephoto mode, which I believe is in its own league, and the feature is smartphone app. On the other hand, OnePlus 9 Pro nails it with the portraits, class-leading performance indeed, as well as the macro mode, which is just mind-blowing. So, in the end, let me ask you, which is your favorite model? Let me know, comment below what you think about these images and videos. I'd very much appreciate if you support the channel. Subscribing and liking it is always a great way to show your appreciation. As usual, links to both smartphones you're gonna find in the description below in order to get to know more about them. And also, buying through these links supports my channel with a minor percentage out of your purchase at absolutely no additional cost to you. With that, this video is complete. Thanks a lot for staying with me till the end. Hope it was useful, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!